Hi everyone, and welcome to the Psychology of Culture, mods 22.1 to 22.4. Here are your learning objectives, and here are your vocab. Pause where you need. So let's first talk about what is culture. So if you look over at this image, this is a really helpful thing to understand this. There's a lot of words that some people use interchangeably, but they all mean different things. So culture is where we share attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, norms, with other people. That is our culture. Now, you can have one culture and another person can have a different culture, but you can share a heritage. And a heritage is really a history. You can also share a nationality, but be from different cultures. There can be multiple cultures within one nationality, right? The country that you are from is your nationality. Your ethnicity, which reflects the traits that you have in common that with a larger group of people with whom you share a history. And then your race. So you can have people of different races within the same within the same culture. You can have people in the same race having there are many different cultures in these things. So culture is that more specific bubble where you're sharing attitudes, beliefs, norms, and behaviors. Within the United States, there are many different cultures, right? But we're many different races, but there's overlap there. So where do we actually see culture? It is in everything. It is in, if you just thought about what you did in a day, what your parents do, it's the food that you eat, the way that you eat the food, when you eat it, the clothes that you wear, the houses and the style of the architecture, everything about how you live and where you sleep, the tech that we use, how we move from one location to the next. The things that we do for fun, how we get our food, where we get our food. There's so much that is culture, but it's in that doing and it's in that way that we choose to live. So where does culture come from? How does it start? So it starts in areas that are very dense in population. And then there's a large group of people, so it's kind of like these norms develop of what's polite, what's rude, how do we all interact with each other? Population density is where it starts. Then there's a factor of where it's going to spread. That culture is going to spread to other areas. So how that happens in suburban and rural areas is if they share the same climate, you tend to share the same lifestyle adaptations or clothing or food. And then also technology can help share a culture where the similar technology that is there allows people to do things that are within that culture, whether it's transportation, working from home, etc. So we can break down cultures into two groups, individualists and collectivists. Individualist cultures focus on what you can achieve for yourself. Where are you going to go to college? What do you want to do for your career? How do you want to live? Where do you want to live? That's a mindset of an individualist culture. A collectivist culture mindset is where you grow up focusing on what you are part of a collective group and you are all working together to do the best for your family or your community or your school or your country. It's about your relationship to other people, not about what am I going to do that's best for me, but what is best for me is best for everyone around me. So how can I do what's best for everyone else? And that in turn helps me. So this individualist cultures tend to be Western Europeans, North Americans. Collectivist culture example would be Asian and African cultures. So some key differences. Well, if, for example, marriage and divorce is more common in that individual's culture where someone might be more likely to say, this isn't what I want. I'm not happy. And so divorce might be more common there. Collectivists would be more avoidant of confrontation, which is why someone from a collectivist culture might look at Americans, for example, as more aggressive and confrontational because it's part of that individualist culture to act in that way. And that is not something that is valued or focused on in collectivist cultures. So here's a great example of two different gold medalist winners. One from the US who says, when they won, I think I just stayed focused. It was time to show the world what I could do. So there's nothing wrong with this statement, right? It's just, this is the perception that she had when she won. I achieved this great thing. For an individualist, you're like, yeah, that's because she did, right? From a collectivist culture, same experience, right? Winning a gold medal, except the response is, here is the best coach, this is a quote, here's the best coach in the world, the best manager, all of the people who support me. These are the things that came together for this medal. So the focus is really on, we're a team and we just did this together. So here are some more if you want to pause and look if you're curious. So how can we study things in psychology when we might have all these different cultures and what is true about perception or thinking about something or personalities might be true in one culture and not another. So psychologists need to go around the globe and study cross-culturally on a specific topic. Now that is very time-consuming and costly, and in the past with psychology, it has not been done. There's been a lot, and I'm going to go into specifics in a second, but there has been a huge focus on cultures, on a specific culture, right? On Western cultures. And so there has been a huge push to do more cross-culturally, and there has been. And sometimes that finds that, something that was true for this white European culture is not true universally. So we would say things that are found to be true are universal for all people, but other things can be culture specific, known as culture bound. Shaking hands as a way to be polite and greet someone is a culture bound behavior. Certain disorders, such as eating disorders, are culture bound. They're not found in all cultures. And there's some things that can be both. If you're studying motivation, you might find that two people are both trying to be polite, and that might be a universal behavior. However, the way that they show that politeness is different. In one culture, it might be avoiding eye contact to be polite, and in another culture, it might be giving direct eye contact. So, and then if they don't understand each other and they're both trying to be polite, they both might think the other one's rude. Oh, sorry about that. So this is what I was referring to. It's called, there was a psychologist that coined this bias towards Western psychological research as weird countries or weird cultures, which is Western, educated, industrialized, rich, and democratic. So again, that's where the focus was, because that's where the money was and the emphasis was to study psychology. So as psychology grows, there's a huge push to, and here's a little more explanation if you want to pause and read it, but there's a huge push to go from that 96% being those Western educated, etc., to being 50-50 in 2020, 2021. So that's a big stretch, and people are skeptical if that will actually happen or not, and I haven't read to see if it did, but there is a huge push to do that. So last vocab is ethnocentrism. This is the tendency to view our world through our own cultural filters. So remember in a previous mod, I said that everyone has bias in them. We are all biased in our own, we all have our own lens, whether it's through gender or nationality or ethnicity, and also through our culture. So our cultural bias is our ethnocentrism. So when we look at someone and they're acting a certain way, we might think that they're being rude or they're being shy. And really, that's our cultural lens, when to them, they might be doing the opposite. They might be trying to be polite, or to them, they're not being shy. That's just a way to be polite. Some cultures shower every day or multiple times a day. Some cultures do not shower every day. And someone else might have a reaction like, ew, that's gross, or whatever, like to both of them. Why do you do that every day? Why are you destroying your skin? So both ways we can lack understanding about other people's culture. So studying and learning and experiencing other cultures can help us be more aware, can help us be kinder to each other, and not make assumptions because we don't understand a culture. So, in summary, our takeaways are that culture is shared attitudes, beliefs, norms, not about race, nationality, and ethnicity. Individualist cultures focus on the self. Collectivist cultures focus on those groups and how they connect to those groups around them. That sums up Mod 22.1 to 22.4, and I will see you in class. Thanks.